Welcome, you've arrived at a quiet place, a space where the noise of the day gently fades away. Here, you don't need to think, to try, or to be anything more than what you are. Tired, human, and ready to rest. Tonight, let this story carry you. A gentle return to the warmest memory of all. The comfort of a mother's arms. The echo of a lullaby. The home that still lives inside you. Close your eyes, slow your breath, and let the warmth of her love lead you into sleep. You're safe now, and you're not alone. Let's begin. Asterisk, the world was blurry when you arrived. Sounds were muffled, lights too bright, and yet there was warmth. A softness wrapped around you. Not just the blanket, not just the quiet room, but her arms, her chest, her breath. You didn't have words, but you had instincts, and your whole body melted into her skin, like you had always belonged there, because you did. The sound you remember, not through ears, but through your body, was her heartbeat, strong, slow, familiar. It was the first lullaby, and it's still somewhere in you, hidden, waiting. You don't need to think now. Just listen and let yourself drift back to that tiny space in time when everything you needed was in the arms of the one who held you first. Your head rested just below her collarbone, your tiny breath in rhythm with hers. She wasn't speaking. She didn't need to. The warmth of her body was louder than words. It said, "You're safe. You're mine. You're home." Outside, the world spun on. But inside this gentle cocoon, time had no meaning. There was only your heartbeat. Your tiny fingers curl instinctively, not knowing what they seek, until they find her skin. It's warm, alive, a surface that breathes, just like you. You press your face closer, not by thought, but by longing. She responds, gently shifting to hold you tighter. Her arm becomes the wall between you and everything unknown. She hums, not quite a melody, just a sound from deep within, like the earth sighing under moonlight. That sound passes into your spine, through the softness of your tiny back, and roots itself into something you don't yet have a name for: trust. The room is dim. Shadows danced lazily on the walls. Not scary shadows, but sleepy ones. Somewhere a clock ticks, but it doesn't matter. You don't know what time is. All you know is her hand, slowly moving in circles on your back. Round and round, soft and steady. You breathe in, you breathe out. You let go. There's a slight rocking motion. Maybe she's walking, or maybe she's just swaying side to side, like a tree in the breeze. You're not sure, but it feels right. Your ears press against her chest. The sound is steady, bottom, 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 like the waves, like the stars, like something older than both of you. Sometimes the light shifts and you squint your eyes, closed, hiding your face in the soft space between her collarbone and shoulder. She smells like warmth, like cotton, like milk and something else. Maybe hope, maybe home. Her lips touch the top of your head. A kiss, not for show. A kiss that says, "I'm here." You don't have to be anything, just be. You shift slightly, letting out a sigh. Not because you're upset, but because your body is beginning to understand what it means to relax. Not in the way adults try to relax, but truly, fully, without tension, without fear, because someone else is holding the world for you. She adjusts, the blanket tucking you in a little tighter. You feel the edge of it near your cheek. The softness makes you smile, even though you don't know what smiling is yet. Your body remembers joy before your mind does. There's a noise outside. Maybe a car or a door closing, but it's far away and it doesn't reach you. Her hand moves across your back again, slow and slower and slower still, and now your eyelids are heavy, heavier than before. The space between blinks becomes longer until blinking no longer happens. You melt into her arms, into the quiet, into the memory you're making right now. Even if you'll never consciously remember it, but your body will. Somewhere deep in your bones, this moment will live on. The rhythm, the breath, the closeness, the love without conditions. The warmth never fades. Even when the air in the room turns cooler, she pulls the blanket up, and somehow you stay warm. Not because of fabric, but because of her. You move just a little, enough for her to notice. Her hand finds yours, tiny fingers wrapping around her thumb. She doesn't pull away, she just lets you hold on, and so you do. You hold on, not because you're afraid, but because it feels like holding the sky. Like nothing bad could ever happen, while her hand is in yours. She whispers something now. You don't understand the words, but you hear the sound, and that's all that matters. Her voice is the ocean, the wind, the hum of something sacred. You feel the vibration of her chest as she speaks. Slow, gentle, meant only for you. It wraps around you like clouds, like sleep woven into sound. A lullaby begins, or maybe it had already begun. You don't know where it started. All you know is that it's here, and it's soft, and it's low, and it's hers. You listen without listening. You don't need to focus. You just feel the music. Like your soul has ears separate from your body. The room is still. The world outside might be spinning, but in this small moment, time is paused. Her breath becomes your breath. Her rhythm becomes your rhythm, and slowly your body begins to disappear. Not in fear, but in peace. The edges of your thoughts grow fuzzy. Images start to rise and fall in your mind. Not real memories, but soft shapes, half-formed dreams drifting like petals in a stream. You hear the wind again, or maybe that's her voice. Or maybe they're the same thing. It doesn't matter anymore. Everything feels connected. Everything feels like her. Asterisk, her heartbeat is still there. You notice it less now because you've started to blend into it. Like music in the background. Always present, always steady, even when your thoughts begin to drift. Your fingers go limp. You're not holding anymore. You're being held. Her arm curves around your back, your legs tucked in, your body curved like a comma. Soft punctuation. At the end of a peaceful sentence, the silence isn't empty. It's full of presence, full of love, full of everything you didn't know you needed until it was given without being asked for. Somewhere in the distance, a dog barks. A branch taps the window, but none of it gets in because she's here. And with her, no sound is loud enough to wake you. Your thoughts become water, flowing, slow, formless. One blends into the next until they don't feel separate anymore. You imagine light, soft golden light, like the one that spills through curtains, or the glow of a night lamp in a quiet room. That light feels like her. Her breath moves through your hair, like wind brushing across fields. You are still, and you are not alone. You begin to fall. Not down, but inward, into sleep, into memory, into a place where her love is the air you breathe. No worries, no expectations, no fear, just this warmth, this moment, this beginning. And as your body lets go completely, as your thoughts dissolve into stars. You hear or imagine one last whisper, "Sleep well, my love, I'm right here." The night outside has deepened, but in her arms, it has always been nighttime. Not a darkness to fear, but a velvet sky to rest beneath. You are still, but inside, your heart beats slowly. Carried by the rhythm of her presence, she begins to hum. Again, this time, a real melody, soft, tender. Maybe one you've heard in a dream, or maybe one she made just for you. Her voice floats like mist. Close your eyes and sail the sea. Stars will watch, and so will me. Rest your head and drift away. I'll be near till break of day. You don't know what the words mean, but your body responds. A warmth spreads from your chest outward, like a candle quietly glowing in a dark room. She rocks you again, barely a movement, more like a slow heartbeat. The world you know now consists of only three things: her voice, her arms, and the breath you share. She whispers, not to hush you, but to soothe the universe around you. It's the sound of everything soft and sacred. Her hand gently cradles the back of your head, her thumb drawing slow circles, like a lullaby written in skin. Don't you worry, don't you cry, Mama's here, so close your eyes. Sleep in peace, my precious one, dream of stars and morning sun. Her voice trails into a hum, and the hum becomes part of the air. You are not thinking anymore, you're floating, on the edge of sleep, held not by gravity, but by love. If you could remember one feeling for the rest of your life, it would be this one. This moment, this stillness, this sense that everything is okay, even if you don't know why. You shift slightly in her arms, and her hand cups your back again, reassuring. Calm, always present. Your breath is slower now, your body heavier, but your heart is light. She hums again, this time almost like wind through trees. A sound not made for performance, but for peace. Dream of rivers, dream of skies, dream of wings where silence flies. Sleep, my darling, don't you fear, Mama's arms are always near. Each word wraps around your thoughts, quieting them one by one, like soft hands closing the pages of a book. A book that can wait until tomorrow. The lines between you and her begin to blur. Where your heartbeat ends, hers begins. You are no longer separate. You are whole, a single breath, shared. The lullaby returns in a whisper, not sung this time, but felt. I've got you, you're safe. You're loved, just sleep, and you do. Not suddenly, but slowly, like clouds drifting across a sky that forgets the sun has set. There's nothing left to hold, nothing left to carry. You are weightless and warm and home. Time continues to slow. Your breath, once soft, now fades into the rhythm of the room. Her chest rises beneath your cheek and falls again. Each breath is longer, deeper, quieter. The world grows smaller, sounds fade. Even her heartbeat, which once pulsed so clearly in your ear, is now just a gentle presence, like waves far off on a shore you'll never have to reach. Her hand still rests on your back, unmoving now, but you feel its warmth like sunlight through a closed window. You no longer notice your own body, just warmth and stillness, and that lullaby floating somewhere in the dark. In the quiet night you rest, tucked inside my arms, my chest, drifting like a leaf at sea. You are safe, just be with me. The words are distant now, like a voice remembered in a dream, but their comfort remains. A soft hand on your shoulder, a kiss on your forehead, a memory older than thought. The light in the room is nearly gone, replaced by that deep navy that only comes when sleep has truly arrived. She whispers now, just once, "Let go, little one, I've got you." And you do. Your thoughts stop trying, your body stops holding. Even your name doesn't matter anymore, because here, in this space, you are only feeling, and the feeling is love. Asterisk, the room has become the sky, and you, a single cloud, floating, no direction, no destination, just presence, just sleep. Her hand is no longer moving, her voice no longer singing, but still, you feel her. In the quiet between heartbeats, in the space behind your closed eyes. And just when the last thought dissolves, the lullaby returns, but only in your mind. Sleep now, love, the night is near, I will hold you, always here. Stars above and dreams. Below, I am with you. Let it go, you do not respond. Not because you're gone, but because you're exactly where you need to be. Floating, resting, dreaming, your breath slows, a pause, a deeper breath, a full surrender. There are no more scenes, no more pictures, just warmth, just weightlessness, just the hum of her presence, singing without sound. Close your eyes and sleep away, morning waits in golden grey. But for now, stay here with me, safe inside this memory. The song ends. Or maybe it continues in your dreams. It doesn't matter now, because you are asleep. Deep, gentle sleep. The kind that only love can bring. The days became longer. You began to notice the world a little more. The shape of shadows, the sound of birds in the afternoon, the way dust danced in the golden sunlight, but still, nothing in the world could compare to her arms at the end of the day. You'd run, stumble, cry, giggle, and she would wait, always there, always ready. Her lap was your favorite place, not because it was soft, but because it was hers. Your head would rest against her chest, not because you were tired, but because you knew, without words, that it was safe. The ceiling fan turned slowly. Outside, the wind rustled the leaves, but inside, just the sound of pages turning and her soft, soft voice. Little river, flowing free, close your eyes and come to me. Let the clouds take all your cares. I'll be here, always there. She would read, and you didn't care what the story was. The words weren't what mattered, it was her tone. The music in her rhythm, like ocean waves rolling onto the same beach again and again. You'd feel her fingertips drawing slow shapes on your shoulder or back. Stars, circles, hearts, maybe nothing at all. Your legs curled up, arms tucked in. She'd wrap the blanket over you both, making a little cave where only love could enter. The sunlight would fade slowly. You'd watch it climb the wall, then disappear behind the curtain, and still she'd be there, whispering, humming, breathing. Sometimes she didn't speak, she just held you. And somehow the silence was louder than the world outside. Evening sky and sleepy trees. Close your eyes and feel the breeze. You're my heart, my moon, my sea. Dream, my love, just dream with me. Her breath would warm your hair, her heartbeat, a steady background hum. The book would close, but your eyes wouldn't open. You were already drifting, not quite awake, not quite asleep, just safe. You begin to remember the days not just in colors, but in feelings. The warmth of sun on your cheeks after school. The sound of her voice echoing from the kitchen. The way your feet would shuffle across the floor as you searched for her arms. the place where the world always became quiet. She'd wrap you in a soft towel, still warm from the sun, as if catching the last light of the afternoon. You didn't know why the moment felt so good, only that you never wanted it to end. Sometimes she sang without realizing, songs she learned from her own mother, or maybe ones she made up just for you. Golden light and sleepy eyes, time to rest, no need to try. Curl up close, the day is done, I'll be here till morning, son. The words barely meant anything, and yet they meant everything, because every note was her. She would smooth your hair, not to fix it, just to feel it, to let you know she was still there. Her hands so familiar, so known, that even with your eyes closed, you knew it was her. The rhythm of your days started to feel like waves, playful mornings, full afternoons, and finally, the soft pull of evening drawing you back to her lap. Her breath against your ear became the signal your body needed to release. Release the thoughts, release the tension, return to softness. Stars above are blinking low, lay your head and let it go. Every night you'll find me near, singing dreams into your ear. The room would dim, the light shifting from gold to grey, your eyelashes fluttered, not in resistance, but like leaves waving goodbye to the light. She didn't rush. Time slowed in her presence. The house might be busy, but this corner, this chair, this embrace was untouched. Sometimes you'd wake from a nap, disoriented, blinking at the fading sky. But the moment you felt her arms, you knew you were safe. She would whisper, "I'm here, love, still here." And your eyes would close again, without a word. She smelled of everything calm, clean cotton, chamomile, and something that could never be bottled. A scent called home. You'd feel her lips press gently to your forehead. Not a kiss to wake you, but a seal of protection. A silent promise. Sleep, my darling, dreams are near. Mama's arms will hold you here. Drift beneath the sky so wide, I'll be right here by your side. The world could wait. All its noise, its motion, its demands, could stay beyond this blanket. For now, you belonged to stillness. You didn't need a reason to sleep. Your body understood the language of lullabies, of breath on skin, of hands that held but never pushed. The moonlight would sometimes peek through the window. Your eyelids, heavy with dreams, caught flickers of it, but quickly forgot. She hummed again, lower now, slower. The kind of hum that didn't ask for attention, only for surrender. Close your eyes, the sky is deep, let the winds sing you to sleep. Every star will watch and shine while you rest in arms of mine. You were no longer small enough to be rocked like a baby, but in her arms, size didn't matter, age didn't matter. You were still her little one, and you always would be. On some nights, the sky turned purple, and the birds grew quiet sooner. You'd crawl into her lap, not because you were tired, but because you longed for that feeling, the one that came only from her presence. She didn't speak much on those nights. She didn't need to. She would simply hold you, tuck a lock of hair behind your ear, and breathe. Her breathing became the story, the beat of the night, the unspoken poem that your body understood. Lay your heart upon my chest, let the stars take care of rest. Day is done, you've been so brave, now come sleep inside this wave. You imagined the wave, warm, deep, made not of water, but of lullabies and blankets and her arms. You felt yourself being carried, not to anywhere far, just inward, deeper, toward a place inside yourself where her love had always lived. You don't have to try, you don't have to run. Just be here, just sleep, my son. The words slowed, her voice faded. Even your breath softened, until there was no more sound. Just the memory of a mother's warmth, just the afterglow of love. And in that stillness, sleep came. Not because you chased it, but because it had always been waiting in her arms. There are memories you can't quite place, not in time, not in space, but you know they're real. The sound of water running in a distant room, the creak of a wooden floor, a soft humming, not loud but steady, like the way a heart sings without words. You see curtains dancing in the breeze, a shadow moving slowly across the wall, and somewhere, the faint scent of something warm, clean laundry, maybe, or her skin after she had just come in from the sun. Hush now, darling, don't you fear. Mama's song is always near. Even when you cannot see, I'll be there. In memory, you can't remember when she sang that, or where, but the feeling remains. A soft hum beneath your ribs. You are older now, maybe 6, maybe 7. You didn't crawl into her arms the same way, but some nights, when the world felt too big, you'd find yourself wandering down the hall. The light under her door was enough. You'd stop just outside, and somehow she always knew. Come in, my love, she'd whisper, and the door would open. She'd lift the blanket without a word. You'd slip in beside her. The sheets smelled like her hair, and suddenly everything was small again. Your eyes would blink in the dark, not from fear, but from wonder. How could something so simple, her breath beside you, feel so complete? She'd stroke your back, not like when you were a baby, slower now, more patient, as if she knew your thoughts were more tangled these days. Even when your thoughts run wild, you're still my soft and sleepy child. Let them go. They'll pass with night. Come and rest in mother's light. You never replied. You didn't have to. In that darkness, she became the moon. Not loud, but always present. Not burning, but glowing. Her presence didn't demand. It allowed you to soften, to stop pretending, to feel, and as your breathing slowed, and your thoughts lost their sharpness, sleep began to arrive like a quiet fog rolling over a still lake. There were nights you didn't cry, you didn't even speak. You simply appeared, as though your small feet knew the way without needing to ask your mind for permission. It was always the same time. Late enough that the house was silent, but not so late that the world had entirely fallen asleep. There was a hush, a sacred kind of stillness, and you walked through it like a whisper, barefoot on cool tiles, your small hand grazing the wall as if to feel the night. You'd stop in front of her door. It was never fully closed, just enough space left for air to pass through, for light to spill in, for love to breathe. You stood there a moment, not to be dramatic, but because even silence needed a little time to settle. And then, her voice, soft, half asleep, but full of knowing. Come here, my love, she'd murmur, already shifting to make room. She never asked why. She never asked if something was wrong. She never needed to, because somehow she always knew that you didn't need answers, you just needed arms. And she offered them, open, ready, like the night sky itself, making space for the moon. The sheets were warm, not from the heater, but from her body, the quiet radiance that only mothers carry. You'd crawl in, careful at first, like entering a secret garden, then melt, almost instantly, as her hand found your back and your breathing found hers. She didn't ask for eye contact. She didn't ask for words. She just gave presence. A kind of love that doesn't perform. A love that waits, soft and steady, like the ocean under a still boat. You felt her chest rise and fall. Your forehead pressed gently against her arm. Your fingers curled into the blanket, as if clutching a thread that tied you back to everything you had ever been. She stroked your back, not to calm you, not to teach you, but simply because touch speaks when language is too heavy. Slow, patient movements. From the top of your shoulders, down your spine, sometimes in circles, sometimes just stillness. And somewhere, deep in your chest, a knot began to loosen. Outside, the wind brushed against the window like an old friend passing by. You heard the creak of trees. The night was not empty. It was alive and yet quiet, and so were you. Her lullabies didn't always come in songs. Sometimes they came in breath, in the slight vibration of her hum, low and steady. It wasn't the words that mattered. You didn't even try to remember them, because they weren't there to be understood. They were there to carry you, like a boat in the dark, gently moving, without direction, trusting the tide. She whispered something, maybe your name, maybe nothing, and it filled the room like candlelight, flickering, golden, comforting. Hush now, darling, don't you fear. Mama's breath is always near. Even when the night feels wide, close your eyes, I'm by your side. You didn't know what comfort meant back then. You didn't have the words for safety or anxiety or the storms that sometimes gathered behind your eyes. But you knew this. In her arms, nothing needed to be fixed. Nothing had to be explained. It just was, and that was enough. Your eyes would flutter, not from tiredness, from surrender. Your body, once full of invisible tension, softened into the mattress. Your feet, once clenched, released their grip on the day. And she just stayed there, not sleeping, not fully awake, but hovering in that sacred in-between where love keeps watch. You turned your head slightly, just to feel her cheek against your forehead. No words, just warmth. Time didn't move the same way in that space. Minutes stretched like soft cotton, hours folded into each other like petals at dusk. And you slipped deeper, not into dreams, but into remembering. A kind of sleep that doesn't just rest the body, but returns it to something ancient, something true. You remembered things you hadn't lived. Rain falling on a rooftop, the weight of her arms when you were a baby, the quiet rhythm of her breath when you lay on her chest as an infant, listening to the world from inside a cocoon. And perhaps, so did she. Perhaps, as she held you, her mind wandered back to the first time she held your hand, the first time you slept on her shoulder, the first time she whispered, I'm here. She didn't need to say it now, because her whole being was the sentence. And you, in your sleepy half-awareness, heard it louder than words. Even when your world is fast, I will be your quiet last. Every worry, every deep sigh, falls away when you close your eyes. Your breath, now slow and sure, matched the hush of the room. You couldn't feel the edge of your body anymore. Only softness, only warmth. The world outside the blanket no longer mattered. The morning could wait. The noise could wait. The growing up could wait. Tonight, you were small again. You were loved. You were whole. And in that sacred silence, your mind let go. Your body stilled and sleep. Pure, gentle, healing sleep came like a mother's kiss on a weary soul. You didn't always go to her bed. Sometimes you stayed in yours. Not because you didn't need her, but because something in you believed she was still there. There were nights when the hall was darker than usual, when the wind outside made the window creak, and the shadows on the ceiling looked like shapes you didn't understand. And yet, you didn't call out. You simply looked at the door. Just enough of it was open for a thin line of hallway light to stretch across your bedroom floor like a golden thread leading to her. That thread, it was all you needed. The blanket felt heavier on those nights, but not in a bad way. It wrapped around you like a memory, not sharp, not loud, just there. Your body tucked itself in tight, arms folded, knees bent, chin resting. Softly against your chest, you listened to everything. The far-off hum of the refrigerator, the settling sighs of an old house, the breath in your own lungs, and somewhere beneath all that, you swore you could hear her. Not clearly, not like a sound, more like a hum beneath the silence, the echo of her voice inside your chest. When you lie in bed alone, know my heart is still your home. Even when you cannot see, I am near inside the breeze. You closed your eyes and imagined her, sitting in her room, her hand resting on a book she wasn't reading, her face lit by the soft light of a lamp, the kind that glowed golden like afternoon. Sunlight trapped in a jar. Maybe she was thinking of you too, not in worry, just in presence. She didn't need to check on you to love you. You pictured her humming softly, maybe folding clothes, maybe writing a list, maybe just breathing, and somehow you felt safer, as if love could travel through walls, as if the air between you was full of her warmth. Your fingers would move under the blanket, tiny movements, tracing the edge of the fabric, pretending it was her hand. You'd remember the way she tucked you in, the corners of the blanket folded just right, the way she'd pause to smooth the space beside you. Not rushing, never rushing. Everything she did had time, because love, real love, takes its time. You'd mimic her voice in your mind, not saying much, just those quiet, made-up lullabies she used to hum when the lights were low. Little light, now fade away. Close your eyes, you've done okay. The moon is watching, calm and wide, and I'll be near, just by your side. That was the magic. You didn't need her to be there to feel like she was, because she had left pieces of herself everywhere. In the way you folded your blanket, in the way you breathed through the fear, in the hush you learned to honor. You weren't alone. Not really. You were with everything she gave you. And in that moment, you felt held. You shifted your head on the pillow, turned toward the door just a little, and sighed. Not out of sadness, but out of trust. And the moment you did, the world softened. The shadows stopped dancing, the ceiling blurred, your limbs released, and sleep arrived like a friend who never knocks, because they're always welcome. You didn't mean to go back. Not really. You didn't plan it. It just happened. Maybe it was the weight of the week, or the way the night fell heavier than usual. Maybe it was the smell of rain on the windowsill, reminding you of something long forgotten. You lay down to rest, not to dream, not to remember, just to pause. But somewhere between breath and silence, the past found you. Not loudly, not all at once, but in small, tender waves. And before you knew it, you were home. Not the place you live now. Not the apartment with bills on the counter, and laundry too. Fold. Not the bedroom with adult worries, tucked neatly under the bed. No, you were in the house you grew up in, but not as it was, not quite. It shimmered slightly, like a reflection on water, familiar but softened, as if memory had smoothed. The edges painted the colors warmer, the floor didn't creak, the air smelled like something safe. And the hallway, that long hallway, stretched out in front of you like a welcome. You took a step. The carpet hugged your feet. No cold, no sound, only presence. The walls knew your name. They had heard your laughter. They had watched your tears. And now they whispered you back. Each door you passed was a doorway into a version of you. The one who played with crayons, the one who read books by flashlight, the one who once hid in closets during thunderstorms. But tonight, you weren't any of them, you were all of them, held gently inside the heart of who you've become. You walked past the living room. The sofa was still there, the old one with cushions too soft in the middle. You remembered climbing it like a mountain, pretending the floor was lava. And there, on the side table, a photo frame, a younger version of you and her, your mother laughing, holding you like the most important secret in the world. You paused, not to stare, but to feel, because in dreams, you don't need to explain. You only need to remember. You turned down the hallway toward the bedroom you once called your own. The door was ajar, just enough. The same way she used to leave it. A sliver of light, a promise that you were never fully alone. Your hand reached for the doorknob, but you didn't turn it. You didn't need to. Because from within the room came a sound, not music, not speech, a hum. A low, quiet melody with no beginning, no end, just the shape of comfort. Sleep now, wanderer. Hush your mind. Let the past and present bind. You are home, just be still. Time can wait, and so can will. You stood there, breathing. One foot in memory, one foot in now. And then, with a gentle push, you entered. The room was just as you remembered, but brighter. The curtains danced lightly in a breeze you couldn't feel. The bed was made, but the blanket had been turned down, as if waiting for you. And on the windowsill, a candle burned, not flickering, not melting, just glowing, like her presence. You didn't speak. Dreams don't need words. You walked to the bed and sat down slowly, the mattress welcoming you like it knew your shape. You lay back, pulling the blanket over your chest, and for a moment, everything stopped. No deadlines, no noise, no expectations, just breath and a hum you could feel in your bones. She wasn't in the room, not in the way people are, not with footsteps or voices, but she was there, in the curve of the blanket, in the softness of the pillow, in the quiet knowing that you didn't have to hold yourself up anymore. You let go, not all at once, but slowly, like petals falling into water, like dusk folding into night. Close your eyes and don't be scared. All your heaviness is shared. I am near, in dream, in air. You are safe, and I am there. You didn't ask how, you didn't need to, because love like hers doesn't vanish. It doesn't fade with time, it stays. Tucked into the folds of memory, woven into your breath, waiting patiently for the quiet. And tonight, you found it. Not by going back, but by going in. Into the silence, into the softness, into the place where you remember, not with your mind, but with your body. Your limbs grew heavier, not in weariness. In peace, your eyes fluttered, not in protest. In surrender, and the house, that glowing dream of a house, breathed with you, every exhale a lullaby, every inhale a reminder. You are not alone, not now, not ever. You drifted, not out, but in, into sleep, into memory, into the gentle truth that Even grown hearts need to be held, and some homes never stop waiting to welcome you back. The blanket rose and fell with your breath, slow, even, like the sea, calm after a long storm. There was no tension in your shoulders now, no list in your mind, no edge to your thoughts, only softness. You let your head tilt slightly to the side, and the faintest smile crept across your lips. This was what it had felt like, to be loved without earning it, to be held without needing to ask, to be known fully and still accepted. She had taught you that, not in words, but in silence. In presence, when the world outside was too loud, she became your quiet. When your fears were too big for your small hands, she carried them for you, without ever letting you see the weight. And now, in this dream, you carried nothing, you simply existed. Cradled in her echo, you thought of those early mornings, when light would seep through the curtains, and you'd wake to the smell of toast, or tea, or soft laundry. She would hum then too, not to entertain, but because she couldn't help it. Her songs weren't songs, they were spells, and they worked every time. You'd pretend to sleep a little longer, just to hear her voice in rhythm with the world. Waking up, morning comes, but not too fast. Sleep a while, let stillness last. You are safe, no need to rush. Love is here in morning hush. That same hush lived here now, in this dream room, in this pause from the real world. And as you lay still, your mind drifted gently, not to problems, but to details. The way she tucked your hair behind your ear, the way her fingers brushed crumbs from your shirt, like you were made of porcelain, the way she knew when you were lying, and never punished you for it, just waited, until you came to her with the truth, and you always did. Because love like that makes you honest. You shifted slightly, pulling the blanket up toward your chin. The hum was still there, not quite hers anymore. Maybe yours now. Maybe it had become part of you. That was the secret, wasn't it? You hadn't lost her, you had absorbed her. Every lesson, every lullaby, every quiet moment became a thread in the tapestry of your soul. You carried her, in the way you comforted friends, in the way you forgave yourself, even if it took years, in the way you created space for silence when others couldn't. Even now, through all you've grown, my voice is stitched into your own. Though my arms no longer hold, my love remains, quiet and bold. Tears might have formed if this had been a waking moment, but in dreams, there's no need to cry. The feeling is the expression. You sank deeper. The mattress was no longer a mattress. It was a field, a sky, an ocean, and your body was weightless. Not because you had disappeared, but because you had returned to the version of yourself that needed nothing to be enough. You heard footsteps, slow, soft. You didn't open your eyes. You didn't need to. You knew she was near, not as a person, not even as a ghost, but as presence, as warmth in the air, as quiet between heartbeats, as the knowing that someone, somewhere, still thinks of you as their child. She sat on the edge of the bed. You didn't see it, but you felt the dip, the change in air, the safety that came with it. A hand brushed your forehead, not real, but real enough. You didn't flinch, you didn't speak, you just breathed, and she did too. Sleep, my grown one, sleep with peace. Let the noise inside you cease. You are not too old to dream. You are not too far to be seen. Time slowed, or maybe stopped. There was no clock in this space, only heartbeat, only breath, only hush, and in that hush, you let go again, deeper now. into a place no words could reach. Only memory, only love. The dream faded around you, but the feeling stayed. The feeling of being known, of being loved, of being safe. You didn't wake. Not yet. You simply drifted. And even in the drifting, you smiled again. Because you had returned, not to a house, not to a bed, but to her. To the version of love that never had to say goodbye. Because it never really left. You don't know how long you've been here. Minutes, hours. In dreams, time is soft. Like breath, like clouds, it doesn't pass. It unfolds. You're still in the room. Not just a room, your room. Or at least, the room that once belonged to you. The walls are still the same color. A faded cream, yellowed softly by sun and years. The wallpaper near the window still peels slightly at the edge. A place where your little fingers once tugged in curiosity. The bookshelf leans slightly to the right, just like it always did. Filled with books you barely remember, but whose weight you somehow still feel. Stories that shaped your dreams, even if you've forgotten the titles. You rise slowly, blankets slipping from your shoulders. The air is warm, still. It holds you like a memory that doesn't want to let go. Your bare feet touch the floor, and it creaks. Just once, you smile. Even here, even now, the house remembers. You walk to the desk. Small, wooden, with scratches from years past. Some from pencils pressed too hard. Others from restless elbows. A few from tiny frustrations you never had the words to explain. And sitting on it, a hairbrush, plain, simple, but somehow the most sacred thing you've ever seen. You pick it up, slowly. Your fingers know it before your mind recalls it. The shape, the weight, the way it fits in your hand like it was made for you. But it wasn't, it was hers. She used to sit on the edge of the bed, pulling you between her knees, gently untangling your hair as if each strand were made of glass. You remember the feel of her fingers, warm and sure, never rushing, even when she was late, even when dinner was on the stove, even when the world outside was demanding more of her. You were never rushed. You were never second. You were always worthy of time. Soft the strands, strong the thread, little thoughts inside your head. Let me brush them out tonight. Let me hush them with the light. You place the brush down, your hand lingering just a moment longer. Everything in this room feels like it holds breath, like it's waiting. Not for you, but with you. You step toward the wardrobe. The handle still sticks slightly when you pull. Inside, clothes too small for anyone you know now. A sweater, faded pink, with tiny buttons that never quite stayed closed. You remember hating how it itched. You also remember missing it when it was gone. You reach out, touch the fabric. The sensation is barely there, but enough. And suddenly, you're not standing anymore. You're sitting on the floor, knees to chest, wearing that sweater, the itchy one, because she picked it out, because she said it made you look like springtime. You remember that morning, rain tapping gently on the window, toast in your hands, your mother singing softly in the kitchen, not a song you knew, just something old, something hers, something safe. You didn't understand the words, but you didn't need to. The meaning lived in her voice, the way it rose and dipped, the way it wrapped itself around the corners of the room, making even the rain feel like part of a lullaby. Raindrops fall, but never stay. They wash your worries all away. In this house, in this light, you are warm, you are right. You blink. Back on your feet now. The wardrobe closes with a soft click. The The room doesn't change, but something in you does. You're not just remembering, you're reliving. Every drawer, every corner, every soft beam of sunlight across the carpet. It all carries her, not in image, but in essence. You move toward the window outside. The sky is neither day nor night, just soft, just quiet. A watercolor of gentle grey blue, like the color of her eyes when she was tired but still smiled for you. You open the window. A breeze enters, carrying something not quite scent, not quite sound. A presence, like someone just stepped out of the room but left their warmth behind. You sit on the edge of the bed. Your fingers trail along the stitching in the quilt. She made this, not with grand declarations, not with ceremony, just with care. Piece by piece, thread by thread. You didn't notice it then, how every corner was tucked perfectly, how the pattern matched even where it didn't need to. But now, you see it. Now, you understand. Love isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It shows up. It stays. It sews pieces together until even the broken parts feel whole. You lie back. The pillow sighs under your head. You close your eyes and hear footsteps. Not real, but not imagined, just enough to feel. They stop beside you. And though no hand touches yours, you feel held. Rest, dear one, I see you still. Though the world may turn and tilt, you are safe in what we've known. In this room, you're not alone. You breathe, not because you must, but because it feels good, because the air here is full of memory, and memory, when wrapped in love, becomes medicine. Your body melts into the bed, not disappearing, just relaxing. Every part of you that ever felt unseen is seen. Every part of you that ever carried too much is light. Every thought you couldn't voice is quiet now. Because this room, this sacred, silent room, has remembered for you. You feel the hum again. That soft, eternal sound that never needed to come from her lips to be heard. It lives in you. It always has. And tonight, you remembered how to listen. You are not a visitor here. You are a child of this hush, a piece of this stillness, a part of something that never truly left. Sleep comes slowly, not because you fight it, but because it has no need to rush. It watches, it waits, it cradles, just like she did. And when it finally arrives, it wraps around you like her arms once did, soft, certain, sacred. In this room, you're not alone, not in memory, not in sleep, not ever. You awaken in a world both familiar and elusive. In this dreamlike space, you wander a corridor of memories. The pastel hues of twilight mingling with the gentle perfume of lavender and old rose. Every step you take echoes with whispers of a voice you once knew so well. At first, the world appears as soft as a watercolor painting, its edges blurred yet inviting. The corridors lined with doors that seem to lead to rooms of your past, each adorned with vestiges of a life that was interlaced with love and solace. As you move forward, you feel the silent pull of remembrance, drawing you ever closer to a presence that has always lingered, even when your eyes could not see. And then, at the far end of the corridor, you notice a door slightly ajar, emanating a warm, inviting glow. You approach it, your heart thumping softly, a mixture of anticipation and gentle trepidation. With trembling fingers, you push it open, and in that moment, the colors around you shift into a cascade of golden light, revealing a living memory of your childhood home. There, in a spacious parlor that brims with both shadows and soft illumination, you see her. Your mother. She sits quietly in a worn yet comforting armchair, one that once cradled your small, delicate frame, but now seems to welcome you as an adult longing for the sanctuary of the past. Her figure is bathed in the tender glow of a single lamp, and even though the details are softened by the dream's hazy filters, her eyes are unmistakably kind and full of an unconditional love that transcends the boundaries of time. For a moment, you stand frozen, caught in the overwhelming mixture of awe and reverence. The air is thick with memory. The soft scent of her perfume, the delicate sound of her breath, the very warmth of her aura. It is as if every fiber of your being remembers all the nights when she soothed you with lullabies. Every gentle caress that made the world seem safe and complete. Without uttering a word, she rises slowly from the chair and walks toward you. Her movement is graceful, as though she floats on air, and as she nears, time appears to suspend. You sense a familiar rhythm in the beating of your heart, a slow, steady cadence that matches the rhythm of her steps. For a moment, the distance between you vanishes, and you find yourself embraced in her presence. Her arms are open, and without any hesitation, you step forward into that long-missed refuge. In this moment, there is no separation between past and present. There is only the overwhelming, tender reunion of two souls, one that has always been waiting for the other. Your mother's embrace is soft yet all-encompassing, an eternal benediction that fills you with warmth and reassurance. Every curve of her arms, every beat of her heart, speaks to you in a language older than words, a language of love, trust, and healing. You sink into her arms, and for a while, the world around you becomes a gentle, undulating sea of memories. You remember the countless nights as a child, nestled close, listening to her quiet, soothing hum. A lullaby that wove its magic, turning tears into dreams and fear into hope. In this sacred reunion, you do not ask questions. You simply feel the continuity of her care, the constancy of her presence, as if she had never left your side. It is a return to the origin of your comfort, where innocence and unconditional love converge in a warm caress. Her eyes, gentle and compassionate, search yours, as if to reassure you that nothing has been lost. I have always been here, her gaze seems to say, a silent vow that echoes in the quiet chamber of your heart. You sense that her voice, though not heard by your ears, resonates deeply within your soul. It is the voice of every soft word she ever spoke, every tender murmur that filled your early days with light and safety. As you lie there, cradled in the memories of all the nights that she rocked you gently to sleep, the scene slowly transforms. The room, this bridge between what was and what is, shimmers with the interplay of light and shadow. Old photographs, half forgotten and cherished, appear along the walls. They depict moments of joy and quiet wonder, a small child laughing in a sunlit garden, a tender moment shared at the breakfast table, the simple act of her smiling down as you fell asleep in her arms. Every detail of the room sings a quiet hymn of recollection. A faded curtain flutters in a non-existent breeze. The soft hum of the air conditioner mingles with the distant chirp of night crickets. Even the worn rug beneath your feet tells a story of laughter echoing on lazy afternoons, and whispered secrets shared under the cover of night. It is as if the room itself is alive with the essence of your childhood, inviting you to lie back and remember. In this place of timeless memory, your mother reaches out and gently brushes a stray lock of hair from your forehead, her touch as delicate as a feather. The sensation is both foreign and achingly familiar, a reminder of all those nights when you craved nothing more than her soothing touch. Every caress erases, even for a moment, the heaviness of adulthood, allowing you to become that small, safe child once again. The atmosphere grows deeper and more enigmatic as the glow softens. The sounds of the present fade into a quiet murmur, and you realize that you are drifting, not away, but deeper into the sanctuary of memory. The distinction between dream and waking life blurs, and you surrender yourself to the gentle embrace of sleep. In this suspended reality, you no longer differentiate between longing and contentment. Instead, you simply are. A soft melody arises from somewhere unseen, a tune that recalls the gentle lullabies of your childhood. It is not sung aloud, but rather it infuses the air, mingling with the rhythm of your heart. You feel as though you are floating on an endless sea of warmth and light, a sea that carries you far from the troubles of the day and back into the timeless embrace of your mother's love. At this moment, the separation between past and present dissolves completely. You become both the child and the adult, the one who once relied entirely on her care, and the one who still, despite the burdens of life, finds solace in that eternal bond. It is a profound transformation. In the act of remembering, you reclaim the innocence and security that had always been your birthright. In the quiet, your mother's presence grows even more intense, her gaze now shimmering with an unspoken promise of unconditional support. Without the need for spoken language, she communicates through every silent gesture, every lingering touch, a certainty that she will always be with you, guiding you through the darkest nights and the brightest days. Your mind, slowly unwinding like a spool of cherished thread, begins to stitch together the fragments of your life into one continuous tapestry. Every hardship, every joy, every tender secret shared in the hush of night becomes part of this delicate fabric of remembrance. The pain and the beauty of your experience merge into a single, luminous current of being, a current that carries you gently toward inner peace. In the midst of this reverie, a vision stirs, a moment when your mother leans in close enough that you feel the warmth of her breath against your cheek. Her eyes, though filled with a tender melancholy 4 times past, shine with hope and reassurance. In that intimate gaze, you see your own history reflected back, the laughter, the tears, the unspoken promises of safety that only a mother can offer. And slowly, as if on cue, the dream begins to shift. The vivid images of the room and your reunion with her start to melt into softer impressions. Like brushstrokes on an ancient canvas, the details become less defined, but the feelings remain indelible. You sense that this transformation is not an ending, but rather a gentle stepping stone toward deeper rest. The melody that accompanies you now is not mournful or nostalgic in a sorrowful way. Instead, it is imbued with hope, a realization that every memory, every touch of love, is a gift that endures beyond time. It is as though your mother's very soul has whispered into the fabric of your being, a final benediction that you can carry with you into the realm of dreams. Even as the day unfolds its wings, my love in you forever sings. Though time may draw us far apart, you will always keep me in your heart. The soft cadence of these words resonates deep within you, as if they are the very pulse of your existence. You feel lighter now, as if decades of accumulated weariness are slowly peeling away, replaced by an invigorating sense of renewal. In this ephemeral space between waking and sleeping, you become aware that every moment of vulnerability is also a moment of profound strength. A strength drawn from that timeless, maternal love. Before you know it, your eyes grow heavy once more. The details of the room, the warmth of her presence, the gentle murmur of a lullaby, all begin to dissolve into a soothing haze. The last vestiges of the old world fade, leaving behind only the comfort of a promise that you are cherished, that you are whole, and that even in the quiet solitude of the night, the memory of her love will guide you safely home. And so, as the boundaries between dream and waking blur completely, you surrender to sleep, carrying within you the luminous, tender echoes of a mother's love, a love that transcends both time and space. You are lying down again, not on a bed from your past, not in the dream house that carried your memories, but in a space even softer, deeper. You don't know how you arrived here. You don't need to. The air feels like velvet, thick, warm, comforting. There is no room, no walls, no furniture, just space. Endless, quiet space. As if you've curled up inside a single, deep breath that never ends. Your body no longer feels heavy, not because it floats, but because it's finally allowed to rest completely. There's nothing to do here, nothing to hold, nothing to remember, and yet you remember everything, not with your mind, with something older, something softer, a hum, a presence, a warmth that pulses from nowhere and everywhere. It doesn't speak, it sings. Close your eyes, the world can wait. Dreams arrive a little late, but now they're here. No need to fear, let go, my dear. I'm near, the voice is hers. But it's not just her, it's every version of her that ever watched over you. Every quiet moment you forgot to thank. Every gentle kiss on the forehead, every touch that said more than words ever could. Her voice doesn't echo. It wraps like a shawl woven from time and tenderness. You don't open your eyes. There's no need, because somehow you're in her arms. Again, not in a bed, not on a chair, not in any physical place, but in her. In the part of her that never left you. Not when she stopped holding your hand. Not when you moved out. Not even when the world became too loud to hear her. That part stayed inside you as memory, as rhythm, as lullaby. And now that lullaby rises again, not from her mouth, from the stillness. It begins in the distance, a faint vibration, like water beginning to ripple. It travels toward you, growing fuller, warmer, until it reaches your chest and settles inside. Your heart like a bird finally returning to its nest. You breathe, and suddenly, you're small again. Not in size, but in feeling. Vulnerable, yes, but also cared for, also complete. You feel her arms around you, not in flesh, but in memory's perfect shape. Her heartbeat, a rhythm under your cheek. Her breath, a hush across your hair. Her warmth, the entire world. You've done well, my child. You've grown so tall. But even grown ones sometimes fall. And when you do, don't search or roam. Just close your eyes. I'll bring you home. A tear forms, not from sadness, from surrender. You didn't know how much you missed this. Not just her, but the version of yourself that could be this open, this trusting, this unguarded. And now, in the quiet, you find that self again. She holds you closer, not tighter, just enough. Enough to remind you, you are not alone. You have never truly been. The dream begins to fold in gently. Not ending, not fading, but simplifying. The glowing world around you becomes softer, like the edge of sleep meeting the curve of dawn. Your breath slows, your mind quiets, and then a final lullaby, whispered, not to your ears, but to your soul. Sleep now, wanderer. Dream without weight. Love doesn't leave. It just changes shape. And in each breath, each silent sigh, know this, I'm here. I'm nearby, you let go. Not because you're giving up, because you're ready, ready to rest, ready to release, ready to be held, not just by memory, but by peace. And so you drift into the hush, into the warmth, into the quiet knowing that her love is no longer something you visit. It lives inside you forever.